and 2 years with GCP, which is known as Google Cloud, right? So this is brief about me, and let me share my LinkedIn profile also so that you can have a look on that also. Pasted the link into the chat window so that everyone can see it. This brief about me. So like I told, I do have total of 12 years experience, and out of 12, I do have worked with 6 years on the AWS cloud, 4 years with Microsoft Azure, and 2 years with GCP. And apart from these cloud technologies, I have worked with multiple programming languages like .NET, Java, and Python. Many of the students are confused about it also, that in cloud, do we need any kind of coding skill set? The answer would be no, but it is good to have. So I'm not denying on the fact if you don't have any programming knowledge, you cannot work on the cloud. You can work, but the ultimate thing is, if you want to work more aggressively or looking for better future, then learn any of the programming language. I'm not favor of not into favor of any particular language. You can learn any. .NET, Java, Python. Python is a very good scope. So considering its scope, its short syntaxes, and the famousality, so I would recommend you to learn Python, but it is good to have. It is not a compulsory thing to learn AWS. So this is brief about me and what course we are going to start from the next weekend, probably, or weekdays. That will be a 50 hours of program. In this 50 hours of program, every weekend you can say 2.5 hours each day over the weekend. So it becomes 5 hours per weekend. So how we will be working is, I will be explaining sources to you. This will be the course of content I will be sharing with you after this session, so that you can go in detail. But this will be the basically course of content where I will be covering IAM. And guys, this is not a basic thing. Everything will be practical. Everything, whatever I am mentioned inside this document, like creating and assuming and role, enforcing IAM policies, how to test it, how to create admin level policies, how to create developer level policies, system manager, multiple things will be there. So starting from IAM, this is the base lecture of it. Then we will be covering EC2, VPC, multiple things, S3, API gateway, database services, how to create database, RDS database, how to create DynamoDB tables. And guys, one thing which is making our course different from others is that we are not focusing too much on the theoretical part. Theory everyone knows, right? Theory everyone knows about it. What I believe is, when you go for the interview or when you go for the certification, the only thing matters is how much you done on the practical side. Then only you will be able to speak on that. Okay, so inside this, when I say database services, multiple things will be there, like how to create databases, how to take backups, how to store restoring the backups, how to create a RAID replica, how to configure automatic manual snapshots. This is one of the example in RDS. Also, we'll cover elastic load balancing, auto scaling, how to create different type of load balancer we have available in AWS. One is application load balancer, network load balancer, classic load balancer, gateway load balancer. So we'll cover everything out of it. Registered domain. This is one of the DNS service, registered domain, how to work with it. What is CNAME, what is alias, what is decouple applications. When I talk about decouple applications, I'm talking about SQS, I'm talking about NSS and Kinesis. Kinesis is very, very popular nowadays. It's a streaming based architecture services AWS has given available in the market, which through this you can process million of records in a second, only million of records. So very, very powerful service. Kinesis also cover that. Then AWS Glue. With the AWS Glue, you can create your jobs, you can create a crawlers, you can do multiple things with the help of Glue also. That also we are going to cover. Elastic Beanstalk, which is now traditional, I would say. Then AWS Lambda. And also, apart from this, what I am delivering on the screen is every week we discuss on the interview questions and certification questions. Also, there will be a rule that I will be giving assignments to you so that you can work on that assignment, and that assignment will be part of real-time project. When I say real-time project, after learning of 1 month, I will be giving assignment to you so that you can complete the assignment and learn by yourself. When you do it by yourself, you actually learn a lot of things. And that is what I will be doing in this course. How to create Lambda functions, how to access using the VPC resources, how to create Lambda that import your CSV data, cloud formation template, AWS monitoring, which is very, very popular service for these people who are working in the production support, how to create metrics, how to create dashboards, how to see alarms, how to see storage throughput alarms, send emails, that everything we will be doing in the AWS monitoring part. AWS security. Under the AWS security will cover many important tools like parameter store, KMS, key management service, secret manager, parameter stores, WEF, shield, guard duty, how to enable guard duty on your account, how to work with inspector. So I will be sharing this file with you, don't worry, but let me start the session. I will be covering 3 things. Please follow the meeting etiquettes. Please do not unmute yourself if you don't have any questions. Okay. Let me start few of the sessions so that you can see my way of teaching. I will be creating one EC2 instance. That is one thing. Create a EC2 instance. I will let you know what is EC2, how to create it. That's the first thing. Second, I will be creating a Lambda function also. When I say Lambda function, I will describe about what is Lambda, why this is becoming so much famous in the market. I talk about AWS Lambda. There are a couple of use cases of Lambda, how to integrate your Lambda function with API gateway. I will discuss one of the scenario that create a Lambda function and attach it to API gateway. That's another thing I will be doing. So let's start, guys. First, let me create a EC2 instance. When I talk about EC2 instance, and guys who are coming in this session from a very, very basic point of view, don't worry about it. We will discuss everything about the cloud models, public model, private models, right? What is infrastructure as a service? What is platform as a service? What is software as a service? So everything we'll discuss, but not as of now. But as of now, I will be delivering a practical lecture to you so that you can understand what level of knowledge you will be getting out of this course. Okay. The purpose is not to tell you the basic of it. I will be covering it. Don't worry. I have many slides. I don't promote slides too much, but I have the slides ready with me. I will be covering that topics once you are going to join that. But I'm just focusing on more because on the practical side, that's the main, I would say, main benefit of our courses to the practical only. So let's, with the same mindset, I have to create a EC2 machine. So with this, let me draw an image. What I'm trying to say here is, when I say EC2, you need to understand what is EC2. EC2 is Elastic Compute Cloud. When I say Elastic Compute Cloud, this is virtual machine. When I say virtual machine is the same machine actually, which is not available physically, but it has virtual existence. It has virtual existence. So what Microsoft, AWS, Google Cloud, what they are doing is, let's say they have one of the region. So let's call it region. When I say region, I'm talking about one of the region they have in Mumbai, in US, every location they have one of the region. Inside one region, they have multiple availability zones. Let's call it AZ1. When I say availability zone, I'm talking about data center. In simple term, if you ask about it, data center. So every cloud vendor says we at least have 3 data centers available. As per the rule, there should be 2 data center available in every region. But most of the organization like AWS or Google or Azure promote 3 data center in single region. So if I talk about how to see that all the locations or AWS regions, you can see the list, AWS regions and availability zones. So this section will come global infrastructure regions and AZs. So here it will tell you each and everything where we have the data centers available. If I talk about Middle East, so in Middle East, they have locations like Bahrain and UAE. If I talk about Africa, in Africa, they have Cape Town region. If I talk about Asia Pacific, in Asia Pacific, they have Singapore, 3 regions, 3 availability zones. In Asia Pacific, Tokyo, 4 availability zones. In Mumbai, in India, they have 3 availability zones. Now they have also available, because this is a recent launch. Now they have the data center in Hyderabad also, which has 3 availability zones. Right, guys? You are with me, right? Any questions you have, raise your hand. I will be clearing your doubts. Don't worry. If you are in a hurry, you have to drop off or something, then you want to discuss something with me directly, let me know. I will be assisting you separately also if you have any questions. So this is about the regions. In every region, they have 3 data centers at least. So we call it AZ2, and this is my AZ3. Okay, so this is entire is region and 3 data centers. Why AWS is creating 3 data centers? Why? The answer is very simple. AWS is saying, hey, when you are creating your services, don't worry, I have 3 copies of your data, so that you can trust, you can work more on your application side instead of talking about infrastructure. So they have 3 data centers available. In these 3 data centers, they replicate the data simultaneously. If you are creating one of the instance and storing the data on it, so your data is secure. They're creating your data at 3 different places. Most of the services they are talking about. Now I will be logging my AWS account and create one of the EC2 instance. But before creating an EC2 instance, let's understand what I'm going to explain you. So this is one of the data center. I'm just making this image big and to explain you. This is your data center, right? Inside this data center, AWS says, I have multiple virtual machines. I have multiple virtual machines, physical machines. Now, one of the member is coming, let's say, from our batch, somebody is coming. Let's take one of the name, Ashish Kumar. Ashish Kumar is coming and saying, hey AWS, I need a machine from you and I need this configuration. What configuration? I need 16 GB of RAM and I need 1 TB of hard disk. And I need Windows on that. Or I need Linux on that, whatever operating system you like. So earlier what was happening is, I need to buy this machine from the local hardware provider if cloud was not available, right? I need to buy this machine, set up the infrastructure, hire a guard for security reason, installing ACs and everything I need to do, right? But here I will go to AWS console. When I say AWS console, I'm talking about AWS website, a URL where you will go and log in and ask to AWS that AWS, I need 16 GB of RAM machine. Can you give it? So what AWS will do, AWS will cut out one of the, like this, they will cut out a machine from this physical machine and give it to you. This is your machine. Actually, this is VM. This is called virtual machine. The existence of this VM is not physical, but it is available here. It is part of your physical server. So out of this, you can ask multiple VM from AWS. AWS is giving VM to everyone. And this is we call virtualization technology. Very, very simple thing. So now I will log in my account. So in your case, you can create your free account also in on AWS. I will be using my root account credential to log in. Let me create one EC2 instance. This is a basic, you can say, dashboard of AWS. Once I log in it, you can search for EC2, which we say virtual server in the cloud. Click on it. Like I want to create an instance with Windows and I want to install website on that. That's a super basic example I'm doing. So this is EC2 dashboard. I'll click on launch instance and click on launch instance. Here you are able to see two options, guys. Here you are able to see two options. One is launch instance and another option is launch instance from template. So let me tell you one thing. When I say launch instance, I'm going to launch an instance where configuration will be asked from AWS on the form itself. But when I say launch instance from template, this is something that you are making one of the template, and later on once you come in, you need to use the same template again and again. That's the beauty of template, that you can reuse the template to create the instances. I will also work on that. Let me launch one instance as of now. Once I click on launch instance, it will be asking what is the name of your instance you want to keep it. I'm saying my web server 1. In the right hand window, you are able to see number of instances. How many instances you want to create? Let's say I want 10. It would be creating 10 instances for you. Like I explained in this image, you are asking for 10, it will be creating 10 instances for you. You are saying 5 instances would be created for you. And basis on that, your AWS is going to charge money from you. And where you can see money details and everything, there is a concept of AWS calculator. This is very, very important. If you're going to join some organization as a cloud architect or a developer, you should learn about it, how to calculate the costing of services you are going to apply in your architecture. Because client will ask a lot of questions on the, what is the benefit of this service? What is the costing? You should need to choose a service which is budget friendly also, which is project friendly also. You have to take an estimate of it. And this is a screen. Click on create estimate. And here you can see it is asking you location type, region, and find a service. Which service you want to take a cost of it? I want to calculate a cost for EC2. When you type EC2, it will give you option Amazon EC2. Click on configure. Once you click on configure, it will ask you that what kind of configuration you are looking for. I'm saying I'm looking for 8 GB of instance. 8 GB of instance. So in that case, let me choose 8 GB. These are the instances. And let's say this is fine for me. I'm choosing one of the option, instance name R6G.medium. When I say R6G.medium, you have to understand one more important thing, CPU family. When I say CPU family, AWS give you tons of options like general purpose, like compute optimized or memory optimized, accelerated computing, storage optimized, HPC optimized. These are the few of the examples. Like you want to take some memory related instances where memory is high, you need to click on memory optimized. Once you click on memory optimized, you will see a couple of examples. If you go with this is R5, in R5, I have the option to take it as 16, 32, 64, 128, and this is RAM, 768 GB of RAM, and list goes on. If you go with this series like high memory, see the comparison, 24,576 GB of RAM. It is not hard disk, it is RAM. So that much of capacity you can get out of it, cloud vendors. Even in fact, they have the option of 40,000 GB instances available. So in my case, if you come to this point, I'm seeing number of instances would be needing 1, right? And here it is asking you what operating system you need on that machine. We call it Amazon machine image. What you are targeting? You are targeting Windows, you are targeting Linux, or you are targeting Ubuntu or something else. In my case, I'm saying I want to work with Windows, right? After taking a Windows, it is giving me option instance type. This was I was explaining to you. In the instance type, I have the options, multiple options. I want to work with 2 GB, 4 GB, 8 GB, 32 GB, multiple options are available, right? So I'm saying, let's understand this thing with 4 GB of memory, T2.medium. Click on it. Key pair login. Key pair is the stuff where AWS create a credential for you. On this key pair, AWS will generate a file, and that file you need to give to AWS to generate a password for the first time. So I'm saying create a new key pair and give it a name, test key, and create key. Key is downloaded here, right? You can see that key. show in folder, and you can open that. Let me open this, show in folder or something directly. This is a key. This is a private key. You need to give this private key to AWS to retrieve a credential. I will use that, but I'm just showing you this is a key. Just make a note of it. This is a test key. Networking setting. Networking settings is something related to networking. Like in the coming sessions, we will be creating our VPCs and all, right? So in this, I'm saying VPCs, my current VPC, which is a default VPC in every AWS account, by default, one VPC is available given by AWS. And that is the same VPC I'm going to use. And I'm saying allow HTTP traffic from the internet on this machine, and allow HTTPS also if you want that. But I'm okay with HTTP traffic as of now. How much storage you're looking for? 30 GB is fine for me. That's fine, completely fine. And after this, go to advanced details. There is a section, user data. Under the user data, you can write your scripting language, whatever you want to install on that particular machine once that machine is coming live. So in my case, I want to install IaaS on this machine. IaaS is one of the web server where I can host my web application. So how to work with it? How to give the command? There's a ready-made command available to me. Let me just open that command. The data. And just one more thing is, let me show the trainings assignments. Yeah, these all are the assignment. Once you're going to join the course, basically not going to join the course, basically that link is always visible to everyone. This is the link, github.riteshpahal assignment. Every assignment will be there. Assignment will be there. So once you are going to join this, you will be getting updates on this part, on this URL. So like how to create that data streams, how to create Firebase, how to create CloudWatch logs. Every step is mentioned inside this, and that link is publicly visible. So let me work on one of the file, and let's take a script out of it and install IaaS, this one, and copy this. Go to AWS console, copy this. And what I am doing in this PowerShell script is I'm saying, hey, install Windows feature with the name of web server include management tool. So what it will do is install IaaS server on it, on this instance. This is a user data command. Click on launch instance now. I'm going to launch this instance. Click on launch instance. Now it will take 3 minutes of time to launch this instance. Till this this is being initialized, you can see the status here. Come to instances. This is web server 1. Instance state is pending. Instance type is t2.medium. As of now, no alarms, and the availability zone is 1B. When I say 1B, like I explained, AWS has one region. Availability zone 1B. In Mumbai, they have 3 availability zones: AP South 1A, 1B, and 1C. And this machine is being created at AP South 1B, like this. Let's say AP South B. And this is AP South 1. Or you can say 1A. So this is something 2, you can say. Any questions, guys, you want to ask till the time this machine is being created? Any questions you want to ask? Anyone?
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, Amit.
Yeah, so actually my question was to about the user data. Suppose actually once we have entered um, any suppose actually if we are launching Linux or Windows, so if we have entered user data, so can we edit, and how, if suppose actually if we want to edit, then how we can edit?
Yeah, that option will be available to you. You can edit that data
So is
after
there
the
any
creation.
command?
Sorry.
Is there any command we have to enter or not?
So that's the option you will get out of here. Once you go to this option, here you will be adding a option edit user data, that you can click on edit user data, and this is the command as of now, right? So that you can edit once instance is available, so that data you can edit and update it.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. But actually, my question is this. Actually, I was trying to edit, but it was not working because I was launching a web server, okay, web page. So after few days, just actually, I was trying to update, modify. So our modify page was not visible. Our previous page was displaying. So that's why. Is,
No, did you
is there
stop your instance?
any?
Did you
Yeah,
stop
yeah.
your
Actually,
instance?
yeah. Firstly, I stopped my stance. Then after that, okay, I was able to edit my user data. Then I have added some more lines in this command. So in this data, so modified data will not reflecting on that server page.
Might
Only
be
previous data.
there is
Yeah,
some issue or issue with the command. I need to check on that, because generally we do that and it works.
yeah. It's okay. Yeah, sure. Thank you anyway.
Any more question, anything? Now go to instances. I think this is status check passed, and you can see the website now. Just click on this instance, make a this is public IP, this is private IP. You just take this public IP and open this, press enter. Once you're saying, this is saying dangerous details, visit hello world, right? I have done the same thing. I've installed, if you see my command, what I did is, this command is install the PowerShell, and I've taken one of the page, hello world page, right? So this is one of the example. Second would be like the way I have created instances, I want to create multiple instances like this way. So it is not an ideal approach to go with every time with launch instance. In that case, what you can do is create a template once, and later on you can use the same template every time. For this, what I am going to do is click on creating a template, launch template. Once I click on launch template, here you can create a launch template and you can define the configuration. In my case, I'm saying demo template. And what version you want to give it? In my case, I'm saying I want to give a version 1. I will tell you what is the role of this version, but for a moment, you just give it 1. What operating system you're looking for? I'm looking for Windows, Microsoft Windows Server, Microsoft Windows Server 2022 base. Select on it. Instance type. Instance type is, it is asking you, you want to include in launch template or you don't want to include. So if you are not including it in the launch template, it will ask you, well, we creation the instances. So I'm saying, let's include that also. And create an instance of t2.medium. Key pair login, I want to create a new key pair and saying testing 2. Create a new key pair. Network settings, I want to add a subnet, this one, South C or 1B. And create a new security group. In when I say security group, this is the inbound and outbound traffic you are seeing. What type of traffic will be allowed, what type of traffic will not allowed. So that will be called security group, inbound rule and outbound rules. I'm saying, let's demo SG. Allowed, create SG. Add security group rule, I'm saying HTTP allowed on port 80 and sources from everywhere. Let's just create this. Click on launch template. Once you created a template, using this template, you can create instances now. It is very, very easy now for you. Now you go to EC2 and click on this option, launch instance. Earlier you were clicking on this, right? Now you need to choose this option, launch instance from this template. Now it is giving you option, which template. I'm saying my demo template. Click this template. Once you are picking this template, it will ask you version of it. So version, in my case, there is only one version, but you can have n number of versions. For one client, you are saying, I need this capacity, like T2.medium, 4 GB of instance. For another client, you might need 8 GB. So in that case, what you can do is, using the same template, you can create another version also. So as of now, it is showing only one, right? So if I go in launch templates, there is my template, right? This one, demo template. I can go to this template and click on actions and say modify template and create new version of it. Modify template and create a new version. Once you click on it, and it will be asking a version. So I'm saying the version is 2. And this time I'm saying, instead of 4 GB, let's take 2 GB and create it. Create template version. Once you created a template version, now go back to instances and click on launch instance and launch instance from template. And this template, demo template, I will be able to see two options now, 1 and 2. Let it come. Yeah, here it is saying 1 and 2. 1 is default, second you can source. So if you're saying I want to take 1, in one case, it will be taking 4 GB of memory and create an instance, launch an instance with 4 GB of memory. But if you're saying I want to work with 2, in that case, it would be taking 2 GB of memory. That's a different instance type. So that's how you can create your instances, and it will be similar. Like I have created an instance now. Now, if I click on launch instance, a similar instance would be created, whatever you are defined in the template actually. Okay, yeah, guys, any questions on it?
So when we apply two, so it is going to create two instances, or it's already been created.
Only one instance. The number of instances field is available here.
Okay. So if you use the template two, then that means it's going to create another instance. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
basically the difference between template 1 and 2 is about the configuration. If you see in one, I have taken the configuration as 4 GB of memory. In second, I say in second version, I want to create a 2 GB of memory, 2 GB of memory. So number of instances are separate thing. This is separate thing.
Okay, gotcha.
Any more questions, guys? And who joined this session lately? Let me just revise that. I have already explained. My name is Ritesh. I do have total of 12 years experience.
कुछ नहीं चल
So,
रहा.
so this will be a, you can say 50 hours program. Basically, in this 50 hours of program, 2.5 hours each day over the weekend. That will be 5 hours per weekend. There will be a lot of interview questions, certification questions, assignment will be there. How assignment will be given to you, like the GitHub link I have shown to you, that link will be available to you, and I will be explaining services to you. Then every steps is mentioned inside this document. Like one of the example is AWS SSO integration with Azure. So you can open it. That is, steps are mentioned here. When I say steps, this is the integration between Azure and AWS. So that level of things you will be getting out of it. It is not a very basic course. It will be a lot of hands-on, and every service, everything is mentioned here is part of practical things. So there were tons of things on the EC2 is very, very basic thing, right? But when you come to VPC, how to create VPCs, it's backbone of your AWS, right? How to create public subnet, how to create private subnets, how to create routing tables, how to create internet gateways, how to create transit gateways, how to do peering connections. And then we have S3, lifecycle policies, meet recovery point objectives, access metrics, how to create EC2 backups on S3, how to restore a file from the EBS snapshot, how to create replication rules, how to host static website, Athena, how to query a data from S3 JSON file, how to create API gateway. That tons of things will be like database for the developers, for the who are working in database profile, for them how to create instances, how to take a backup, how to schedule the backups, what is the difference between a backup and a snapshot, how to do auto scaling with DynamoDB, how to create a cluster in DynamoDB, how to use TTL feature of DynamoDB, how to do work with elastic load balancing and auto scaling, AWS Route 53, decouple of applications like SQS, queue management system like Kafka, how to work with SNS, Kinesis streams, AWS Glue, Beanstack, AWS Lambda, Cloud Formation, AWS monitoring. This is very, very important. Monitoring part is very important. AWS security and encryption, how to work with guard duty, how to work with inspector, how to work with Meshi, how to work with shared responsibility model, what are the best practices of it, what is secret manager, what is param store, what is key rotation, how to do a quick rotation, how to apply it web application firewall, then migration also, how to do a migration from Microsoft SQL to AWS RDS migration, DMS, data, AWS data sync, AWS transfer family. All these facilities will be done. All these features will be done practically. Not a single thing will be discussed theoretically. All things will be practically. Then we will discuss DevOps on the cloud, how to work with DevOps, how to create a Git and Git branches, how to check in the code, basically around the CI/CD pipelines. And also we'll cover a couple of examples on the Terraform also, Chef and Ansible also, not in so much of detail, but I will be covering few examples on Terraform, Chef and Ansible. Then coming back to Docker with microservices architectures, how to create ECS, how to create ECR, how to create ECS, Kubernetes, EKS, that also will be part of it. So containerization applications, how to create it. So everything will be part of practical. Let me know if you have any questions, guys.
May I know what is the course fees?
Sorry?
May I know the course fees?
Yeah, for the cost part, you need to talk with our account manager.
Okay.
Okay. You need to talk with our, let me type the number. His name is Amit, his account manager. And the number is 95406 hyphen 62806. And after the session, if you just want to talk with me directly, that's a possibility that you can have a call with Amit and Amit will reschedule a call with me in case if you are looking for some guidance or something, if you have any kind of doubt, which is not coming in your mind as of now, but later on, if it comes to you, then you can talk to Amit. If Amit is not able to handle that or not able to answer that technical question, or you have any technical query, he will schedule a call with me.
Okay. How about video?
Within
I have
that
small
50
doubt.
hours of
Okay.
duration?
Hello.
Hello?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Is it possible to cover everything within 50 hours of the duration you mentioned?
Yeah, it is possible.
Regarding
How
this
about
solution architect
RDS?
associate exam, any
Sorry?
kind of additional training is provided?
Sorry, can you go one by one? I'm not able to hear your question.
Okay, so in terms of once the course has been completed, I am interested in going for this SCA, Solution Architect Associate examination, prometry.
Yeah.
Or that, do you provide any sort of additional content to clear that exam?
Yeah, basically, if you are able to complete this information, that whatever I am showing on the screen, that is well enough for the exam, for the solution architect or the developer both.
Okay, can we get the curriculum that currently shown by you?
Yeah, you can get that. I will send you that.
Yeah, if you send in the chat box so that we can have a glance of it.
Sure.
Yeah, and I have one small doubt. So after attending this class, can you get these recordings to, shared drive like that? Can you get that opportunity? Can you get that option?
Yeah, yes, there will be a recording sessions that will be shared. Recordings will be shared in the read-only mode.
Is it like lifelong, or do we have any timeline for that one, like 1 month, 2 months?
6 months. 6 months.
Okay. Yeah.
How about RDS? Like, are we gonna cover RDS as well?
Yeah, RDS specific use cases. If you just want to know, these are the RDS specific.
What will be the time schedule?
Sorry, what is your question?
What will be the time schedule?
Time schedule, most probably it will be like 5:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. or 7:30 p.m. IST.
Is there any only one answer?
Sorry, I'm not able to get it. Your voice is breaking for me.
So yeah, just I am saying, is there any
No, your voice is breaking, Mit.
So here this
Okay.
course is only for weekend or weekdays?
There are two separate batches. One is for weekend, one is for weekdays also. So it's up to you which one you want to join. The weekdays would be on the mornings, weekend, and that would be IST morning. Okay. And the weekend would be evening. Like I
Morning
said,
timing?
sorry,
Weekday timing, morning,
8 to 9:30.
8 to 9:30.
Yeah.
This 5:30 PM to 7:30 means that is weekend.
Yeah, that is weekend.
So when onwards
Please.
this morning batch will start, the weekdays?
We are starting from, I think, 7th or 8th probably. Like 9th we can start.
Can you please share the curriculum so that we can take a decision?
Yeah, let me share that. Wait for a moment. I'll send. Can you please check in the chat window if you're able to download the content?
Just a minute.
You are able to access this, right?
Yes,
Okay, great.
thank you.
Any questions, guys? Anything coming in your mind related to anything? Do let me know. Not received, not received. People are saying not received, but many of you confirm that you are able to download it, right? Don't worry, if you're not able to take it, let me show you here itself. Let me upload. I have uploaded the file on the GitHub itself. Let me forward the link to you. You can see the document on this link also with the name of AWS_ND_D. Can you check if it is, you are able to access it now? Are you able to access now? On the GitHub link? Can any one of you please confirm?
Just a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, yes. Yes, it is accessible.
Okay, great.
But just a minute. So AWS ND unable to render invalid PDF. It is showing for me invalid PDF.
Why? No worries. If you're still not getting, I have shared on the GitHub also. Also, I've shared in the chat window. If you're still not getting it, you can contact with Amit. Amit will be sharing that file with you. 95406-6280-6. His number is this. If you have any query related to fees, duration, or anything, you can contact with Amit. If you have any query related to technical anything, then Amit will schedule a call with me. Any more
You can
questions,
also share
guys?
about the fee. You can
Sorry?
also share about the fee. You can also share about the fee here. That will be more comfortable for everyone.
Yeah, I think that's a part of the account manager. I am not the right person to share that details. This is restriction from the organization. I cannot share the details here.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay,
we
guys.
didn't
Yeah.
open. Okay, we need that syllabus. So the thing
Yeah.
that I had downloaded also put in open.
You are not able to see it over the GitHub.
Yeah. Here also it is showing invalid PDF like that.
And
No. Actually, I have downloaded PDF from GitHub. So just try to re-download. Okay, it will be accessible. Try to re-download, please.
okay. And I have shared the PDF again in the chat window. If you
Yeah,
just
that PDF I tried with the MS Word, but it is showing a error there.
okay, let me stop my screen for a moment and let me share a link with you. Give me a moment. I am uploading this file to the Google Drive.
So here in the curriculum, DevOps on Cloud, you mentioned configuration management tools, continuous monitoring, and so on. Well, which tool that you will be covering here? Version control system, whether the tool that it is associated with the AWS or open source GitHub like thing. What will you will cover here in our curriculum?
No, AWS like code commit and code pipelines. I will be covering these features. AWS on.
Yeah, CI/CD build tool that are associated with the AWS related only, is it?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, thank you.
I've shared the link in the chat window. Can you see now? I have uploaded the same file in the Google.
Yes.
You are able to access it?
Yeah, yes. Thank you.
Okay, that's great. Any questions, guys? Any questions, guys? Or we are good for today?
No, as of now.
How is the market for AWS in terms of job opportunities? Like I heard, like Azure also doing well.
So if you ask about opportunities, there are many opportunities in the AWS itself. So first preference is AWS, second is Azure, then GCP. But GCP is making a trend nowadays. GCP also becoming a popular. So
out of three, which one that is more preferable if we want to learn a new?
obviously AWS because it has more job as of now. But I would suggest you, like, if you want to make a good career in the cloud, don't limit yourself to the AWS only. So I am a AWS certified. Just for your information, I am sharing this. I am AWS certified and also GCP certified. So you can follow the same passion if you are interested for. So don't limit yourself to the one cloud, because in the coming time, market will expect all the clouds knowledge, not only the AWS. Once you comfortable after spending 6 months on the AWS, then you gradually move to the GCP, and then you can come to the Azure. That's your choice basically. But if you ask about 100 jobs, out of 100 jobs, 70 jobs are related to AWS, and 10 jobs related to GCP, and 20 jobs are related to Azure. That's how you can calculate it. So you will target for AWS, right? Where more opportunities are available as of now. Once after an year, if that is changing to 20% and that is becoming a 70%, then you need to invest yourself on the Azure. So don't limit to one technology. That is a trend. If you are an IT, you have to learn multiple things. Keep investing on yourself and keep earning the money. That's the funda it is giving nowadays, right? Market is very, very hot for AWS, specifically for next 5 years. What I observe is from now, next 5 years, still AWS will win. Because GCP is making a good progress in the market, but still they are lacking a lot of behind. So AWS has very good compatibility with Python, other programming languages. GCP is increasing the speed, but not on that level.
So another important thing that I am looking for, if I go for certification, so whether I can take AWS Solution Architect professional certification directly without passing AWS Solution Architect Associate, or is it mandatory?
No, it is not mandatory. But do you really have the skills to clear the professional exam?
Yeah, I have some basic understanding of AWS.
No, basic will not work. In the case of professional, it is a very, very tough. It is a tough.
Okay, in which way it differs from this AWS Solution Architect Associate curriculum?
So whatever services we are covering in this, that will cover complete knowledge on the professional level. This curriculum I'm talking about, this targets about the professional. Once you have this kind of experience, then only you can proceed for professional. And what's the need of it? Actually, you start with solution architect, then go with professional. It doesn't make any sense. If you are thinking that after adding a professional certificate, you will get more calls, you are thinking incorrectly in that case. Both are same. Once I do take interviews of the candidates, I never see that thing that candidate is available with certification or not. Certification is just for screening. Once you are in the technical round, your knowledge speaks, right? Agree or not? Agree or not?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you are right.
Like if you are new to AWS, I would still suggest you to go with AWS because market is very, very hot for AWS. Then go for AWS as of now. Once you are good with AWS after spending 6 months, then you can go for GCP or Azure. And if you're looking for good interview questions or certification question, there is a website. This I forgot the name of it. Just give me a moment. AWS certification questions. There is a good website on that. Yeah, Viz Labs. Go with it. It has very good things. Let me show you how it works. Let's say this is Viz Labs, and on it, multiple certification questions are available. Just say you are going to work with AWS, right? So I have bought one of the course available here. AWS Certified Solution Architect Associate. I have bought this course in just few dollars, $3 or $4 only. Then they have test available here. Practice test, 19 tests are available. If you go with practice test 4, which is SAC03, you can click on start, and here it will ask you option whether you want to start this in a quiz mode. Yes, I'm saying, and a practice mode. Yes. As a practice mode, everything you are answering, after the answer, it will tell you it is the right answer or not. And if it is a right answer, then why it is right. Let's say this is the right answer. In my case, I have attempted B, right? So I need to scroll down and click on show answer. So it will tell you that this is a correct answer and why it is correct, why A is incorrect, why C is incorrect. So like this, you have 65 questions in one. And like this, you have 13 to 14, I think. 19 tests available. And you can search for other also. Like you searching for. Yeah. This is AWS Transfer Family Lamb. Yeah, forget about it. Here you can see, let me just remove the dashboard. Training library, cloud computing, Amazon. Here you can target for professional. SysOps, architect, professional, engineer, DevOps engineer, networking specialty. So if you click with networking, you will find a different 376 questions. And you can check the cost of it, how much it is costing you. In Indian rupees, it is around 1400, but I don't want to opt for practice test and hands-on lab. So I just only looking for practice test. You can remove this, you can remove this. I'm only looking for practice test, which is costing $600, equivalent to 559 in Indian rupees and $8, probably $8 to $10. Then you will get out of it very good questions. 370 plus questions you will get out of it. More question is Abhijit, DB, Harish, Francis, Kundan, Pradeep. Any more questions? Sunil, Tushar, anyone? Any questions? If no questions, we are good for today. In case of any query, like I said, you can contact with Amit.
Yeah, you were saying to create a lambda function or something. but actually you have not covered those things.
Yeah, I actually planned for 1 hour and 15 minutes. There was a time crunch, but if you're okay, I can cover one example for Lambda also.
Yeah, actually,
Okay.
if you're okay, then actually you can cover it.
Okay, let me create one Lambda function quickly. When I say Lambda, first you need to understand what is Lambda. When I say Lambda function, it is talking about run code without thinking about the servers. So one of the advantage of Lambda is there is no servers for you. Actually, it is in the background, there is a server that AWS is owning, but for you, it is a serverless technology. That's the reason it is becoming very, very popular in the market, and we call it Lambda function as a service. So once you go to the Lambda, it will ask you that what type of configuration you want to create inside the function. So let me click on create function. Once you click on create function, you can create a function using Scratch. You can use a blueprint, sample code, and container image also. When I say container image, I'm talking about Docker images. That also you can use. But I'm going to work with author from scratch and saying this is my first function. Let's say first func which runtime you want to make. When I say runtime, what AWS will do is, what runtime is you choosing is basis on that AWS will create a machine internally and install this runtime on that machine. Whatever runtime you are choosing here. Let's say I'm choosing Python 3.9. In that case, what AWS will do, AWS will create a machine and install Python 3.9 on it. And the code you are going to write in this Lambda function will be executed on that machine itself. Create function. Let me create on create function. So your function would be created in a couple of seconds. This is a function. Okay. Just a hello world code, basic thing. Now I want to execute this function as a URL. So for that part, we have two solutions. One solution is you can make your Lambda function as a function URL. Second is you can make use of API gateway. So let me cover both of the ways. First, let me go to functions and create a new function, and I'm calling it name URL test. I'm saying Python 3.9. Okay. Once you go to the advanced settings, in the advanced settings, you are able to see enable VPC, enable tags, enable function URL. So this is a checkbox you need to tick on. Enable function URL and none. When I say none, as of now, there is no security auth type I'm giving, but in the coming sessions, we'll also work on how to authenticate your Lambda function using IAM credentials. But for a moment, I'm saying none and create a function. Once you create a function would be created and there will be associated URL associated with it. And that feature is new, available in the market. That feature was not available in the beginning of Lambda. So nowadays this feature is available, function URL. If you open this URL over the website, it will tell you hello from Lambda. So this is one way, right? Second way is like I've created a Lambda function, which was that, let me refresh first fun code, right? This one. I have this Lambda function and I want to run this Lambda function in response to API gateway. When I say API gateway gives you a lot of features like authentication, authorization, keys, usage wise. It is one of the service provided by AWS. So using that service, you can create API, you can host API, you can deploy your API, authentication you can provide using Cognito. Everything is, you can say, just configuration settings. You just need to play with that configuration settings and all things will be done automatically. So in that cases, I want to attach this Lambda function to API gateway. So once you say I want to attach this Lambda function with API gateway, there are two ways. One way is AWS owned way. So when I say AWS owned way, you just need to click on add trigger, and you are saying add this trigger on basis of API gateway. Let's say add trigger. Once you say add trigger, here you will be seeing an option of selecting a source. In this source itself, I'm saying the source will be API gateway. Source is something how you want to trigger this Lambda function. So I'm saying basis on API gateway. But you have the option of S3 also, you have the option of SQS also, you can have the option of SNS also. Multiple services support are available with Lambda function. So in my case, I'm saying API gateway. Once you click API gateway, it will ask you, and let me show you one window before creating it. Go to API gateway. This is one of the service. Go to that and open the UI. In this UI, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 API are already available. 8 APIs are already available. And automatically new API would be created. Once you go to add triggers, it is asking you API gateway, right? So create a new API. Which API? HTTP API or REST API. So there is a slight difference between a HTTP API and REST API. HTTP API is a build low latency, cost effective REST API with built-in feature of ODIC and OAuth 2. And when I say REST API, this is something becoming a standard in the market. Most of the organizations are using REST APIs for their work. Or you can say HTTP is mainly developed for the mobile applications, and the REST API is targeting the web, Windows, and mobile everything. It is an advanced version. So it has great compatibility with the other applications, web applications I'm specifically talking about. So I'm saying create a new API with REST API, and security as of now making it open. When I say open, it is accessible to everyone. So you can also make it like IAM or API key. So in the case of IAM, only users have the IAM access will be able to see it. And API key, in the case of API key, whosoever has the API key will be able to talk with API only. Whosoever has this key. I'll try to cover this example by today only. Let's make it open as of now and click on add. Once you click on add, a URL will be shared with you. Open that URL and you are able to see your Lambda function. Similar thing, like in the ITILs, for a single problem, there will be a multiple solution. Like a similar example I have done using function URL also. Now I've done similar example using API gateway. Now the interview question becomes is, what is the difference between a function URL and API gateway? In the API gateway, you get a lot of things. You can have a good control. Once you go to the API gateway and refresh, automatically API would be created. Yeah, with the name of, what was the name? First Fun Code API. This is being created. And here you can come and change the request response. Everything will be in your hands. It's a flexibility to you. Once you go to the resources, here you will find a resources like method request, integration request, how your request will be coming, how you want to integrate it, then how your integration response will go, then method response will become. So here you have the complete control on it in the case of API gateway. But when you create a simple Lambda function with URL, only you are getting the function URL. You have no control on this request, response, timeout, and all these things. In the API gateway, you get a lot of features extra. Like the way I have created is AWS way. AWS has created all the things for you, right? But in case, if you don't want to create that things by AWS, because AWS has mentioned their own nomenclatures and all, I want to create my own naming conventions. In that case, you can also create your name API gateway separately and attach it to Lambda function. How to do that part is, let's go to your Lambda function. What is your Lambda function? This is your Lambda function, right? This is a name, first fun code. Let me remove the API gateway. How to remove it? Click on this API gateway and go to this link and delete. Now I would be creating all the things manually. So how will I do? Go to API gateway. Create an API. Once you are creating an API, it will ask you which API you want to create: HTTP API, WebSocket API, REST API, or REST API private. So there are two options in the name of REST API. The REST API, it is a public REST API. It is a private, which is accessible under only the VPC, your VPC. If you have the scenario where only you want to access your API under the organization only, you are suggested to work with private. But in my case, I'm taking help of REST API and click on build. Once you click on build, it will ask you what protocol you want to work with, REST or WebSocket. I'm saying REST. Create new API. What is the name you want to give? I want to give it name JOYATRES demo API. Description, you can give anything. Endpoint. When I say endpoint, it can be a regional, it can be an edge optimized, it can be a private. So when I say edge optimized, so there is a concept of edge locations. So what AWS is doing, they have the concept of regions. After that, they have the concept of edge locations also. So edge location is, they have created a different data centers at different location to serve the data fast. So if you are saying, I want to use this API as the edge optimized, AWS will distribute the data on different locations so that it can serve the faster location. But I'm saying as of now, just to understand, this regional is fine. And create an API. Once you create an API, first you have to create a resource. And resource is your, in this URL, what is resource? This is a resource. This is a resource. So I'm saying go to actions and create a resource. And whatever you did in the Lambda console, that when you added a Lambda with API gateway, automatically all the creation of resources, method, deploy API has been done using AWS. Now I'm doing it manually. Create a resource. I'm calling it transactions and create a resource. Once this resource is being created, you have to create a method. Click on create method. What kind of method you want to create? Get, delete, post, patch, whatever you want to create. I'm saying I want to get the values. Get and save it. Once you save this, it will ask you where you want to do an integration with Lambda function, with HTTP, mock, AWS service, or VPC link. I'm saying I want to work with Lambda function. And what is the Lambda function name? First fun code. Automatically name has come up, and click on save and OK. Once you say OK, this method request, integration request, similar screen has come up, right? I've shown you earlier. Now you can deploy your changes. Deploy API. So once you deploy your changes, it will ask you, on which deployment stage you want to deploy your changes. I have, let's say, 3 environment: dev environment, QA environment, UAT environment, or production environment. I have 4 environments. I want to deploy my changes to one environment only. And that case, it gives you flexibility also to create an environment-wise URL. So there will be a separate URL for dev, separate URL for QA, separate URL for UAT. I'm saying new stage, and this is a dev stage. Dev stage for devs. Deploy. Once you deploy this, you will get a URL, this URL. Click on it, stages, and click on get method. You will get complete URL. Copy this URL and hit it. Yeah, here is your response. Hello from Lambda. Right? So if you want to make it secure, or you want to add couple of keys ways that only person who has the keys, then you can add a keys also. You can add a authorization also. You can add a models also. Multiple services are available in the Amazon API gateway. Did you get that part? Any questions, guys?
No, actually, I don't have any question. By the way, actually, yeah, it's a little bit difficult, okay, to understand about the concept. So until and unless actually we can't clear our doubt, uh, just we have to perform hands-on. So that's like,
That is what I am expecting from you also. When you are going to join this course, please join with the mindset of spending at least 2 hours daily. Otherwise, I will be explaining so much which is even not part of this curriculum. I can explain many things to you. But
yeah,
you have to give a commitment to me. Hiritesh, I am committed for next 2 months. I will be spending 5 hours over the weekend with you. But you have to spend at least 10 more hours over the weekends to understand in deep. And that is what I am looking for. If you are challenging me, I will give a lot of things to you. I have a lot of experience on the AWS services. Just a 3 months of commitment will work for me. Any questions, guys? Or we are good for today? I think this is fine, right? You can also see our YouTube videos for our reference, how I teach. There will be a 3 to 4 examples there also. You can see that recordings. If you want to talk to me directly, you just let Amit know. There's a number that you can contact Amit, and Amit will redirect a call to me. Fine, guys.
thank you, sir.
Okay. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye bye.